What's up? Got a Tucson. Hey, let's get it out of this box, checked in, so we can check it out. How about it? All right. So, yeah, it's that weird thing. This is the TS214. Let's get it out of that package. Get rid of this plastic and get a real idea of what we're facing here. So this one is just one of those that it was odd enough looking, and being a Tucson collector, I had to get it. Just had to. And so, hey, I'm gonna take it apart. We'll clean it up, tune it, sharpen it, whatever's got to happen to it, and we'll talk about it for a minute, and I'll throw out the pricing and kind of go through it. Whew, this button lock, something special, man. All right, so yeah, it's just odd, is it not? It is the TS214. Obviously, it's a color model. It's got G10, titanium. Look at how this titanium fits in there. I mean, we're gonna go back through it. I'm gonna get the oil off it, but I just that initial. But hey, let's open it, because I know that's always what I want to see. I mean, it's got a forward-leaning blade, which, it looked like that in the pictures. Look at this dual grind. Wow. I'm excited to see how that cuts. I mean, sharpening it, it's one continuous edge. There's not a break there. Yeah. Very cool. I mean, it's sharp. I didn't have any doubt. So, let's see what we got here. Jerry Jelly design, TS214, 14C28N. Very, very cool. Let's get this initial drop. Ooh. Yeah, that's fall shut. Takes that initial, got to get past that detent ball initially. But then it just pops. The flipper tab's kind of different. I mean, the shape. Wow, I got a lot to talk about here. Let me get this oil off it, and maybe I'll fondle it a little more before I take it apart, but we'll get right to it. I'll put a screwdriver on it. We'll get it out, get it apart, and then, yeah, so nice. Getting all that oil off of it. Like, yeah, it's special. Really interesting knife. I mean, yeah, interesting. And it matches my towel, my yellow towels. Little oil on the blade. All right. Nice little ring to it when it shuts. Excellent. I'm quiet because it's so unique. My eyeballs are taking it in. I mean, as a knife guy, I mean, kind of artistic piece of art. I don't know how functional it is. I don't know. Let's get it apart. We'll get it apart, get it cleaned up, and I can continue to talk about it as we go. So that wasn't super tight. There's no Loctite in it. But it did have some tension on it. I think I got T6s in the rest of this. Yeah, that's all T6s. So let me get out my little Weeha bits. This I think I bought these separate. I may look for this. This might be an Amazon purchase that I can recommend, but I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, just little wee-hub bits. And they're tough. I mean, I've never stripped one of these. And these little ones like this, the micro bits fit my driver. So I bought just that little pack of bits. There we go. It's going to be interesting to see the scales come off of this one. That kind of sprung. I'm going to take the tension off of that detent. Hey, I don't want that blade to cut me. We'll keep it down on the mat. How about that? Nice long screws. Is that pocket clip screw? Yeah, the pocket clip screw is going to hold that together as well. So let's get it out of there. Nice tension on it. Whew, look at the length of that one. And I can feel it in my hand. Everything's coming loose now. So there's this scale. Just come right off the whole thing. I do want to pop that clip off of there. I want to see the recess, but oh, it's got another screw in the back. How about that? An embedded steel liner into this G10. I mean, it's milled really tight tolerances. It's got 2 screws underneath that pocket clip. I don't know if you can see them in there, but there's 2 screws under there that are holding this in there. And it's also holding that scale further on. So, you know what? This one's unique enough that I'm going to dig in deeper. I'm going to take all of that apart. Why not? Let's get a real look at everything. Curious how these scales come together and what it's all going to look like when it's disassembled. So there's another screw size. It's got 3 screw sizes so far. These are the T6s for the scales. This is the T6 on the inside of the pocket clip. And then this is the outside of the pocket clip. But that pocket clip should come up out of there now. Yeah, really nice recess in there. So that clip's going to sit in there really well. It's going to hold well. It's got some interesting, it's got micro milling on it, on this pocket clip. Really fine micro milling. Even down here in this flat spot. Yeah, very nice. Okay. T6, I think. This thing's going to make me change bits back and forth, back and forth. Maybe that's part of the design is, hey, let's make one that when those goofy knife reviewers review it, see, that's not that. That's not that either. So this is the outside of the scale. Inside, outside pocket clip, the scales, outside scales, and the inside scale, inside, outside scale. Interesting. Lots going on here, man. This one's going to keep me on my toes. All right, there's another one. So the scale should come now. Well, that liner definitely came out. That loosened that. Yeah. Magnetic. Steel. Got the detent ball. This G10 has been super milled. Nice little collar. All right. What's this about now? How did this come off? I'm not going to force it. I can tell you that right now. If it doesn't appear to be given, then I'm going to leave it be. No, it's just super toleranced, super tight tolerant. Yeah. Nice titanium scale. I mean, it appeared at first look that it was super thin. I mean, it is thin and it is really light, but there's substance to it. Yeah. Yeah. And I'd say there's texture in it, but not really. I think there's texture, but it's been polished smooth. If you look really close, I think you can possibly see that background texture in there. Yeah, there you can see it cross-cut. It's running this way here. Okay. Very cool. So there's that scaled, completely done. Big piece of G10, yellow G10. Then this piece, well, let's get rid of the blade. So we got a washer with a racetrack, bearing. Very cool. It's got a captured detent pin, another bearing. Ooh, big pin, big pivot pin. Nice. Another racetrack. Got the stop pin. And then that's actually held on by these screws. Man, there's some engineering going into this one. As unique as it looks, it's just as equally engaged. As far as the construction of it. It's not just visually stunning, but the screws and the different sizes and how everything's attached, the tightness of the fit of everything. Like, I mean, initially I can say already that I'm really impressed. Like the G10 kind of puts it in the, like, maybe not such a fine piece of equipment. All right, so that explains why that wasn't coming, because the reversible pocket clip screw on the other side holds that backspacer in, and that actually, okay, that's one of those. I don't know what it's like to watch this. I mean, I'm going to be interested to watch this back because there's so many detailed parts to this. I mean, it's not complicated, but it's just engineered really well. Like that does not want to come off of there, and it's not because it's held on. Like, I can create space there. It's just the fit. Well, hold on. I mean, maybe it has everything to do with I missed another screw from the inside, which my guess is probably going to match these other inside screws. Yeah. So now I do think it's going to come off. It's going to, yeah. And then this metal or titanium spacer for the opposite side of the pocket clip, that fills that gap when the clip's on the other side. And again, this scale, at first appearance, it appears that it's super thin, but there's substance to it. That's a fair chunk of titanium with super nice lightning anodizing on it. Another big piece of G10. So there it is, man. Look at all these parts and pieces here. That's actually every piece of that knife. And you got these screws way over here, and man alive. I'm impressed. I mean, I didn't know it when I bought it. I just knew looking at it, and it seemed desirable just visually. It was like, it's so unique. I got to pick one of these up. So I started putting bids on them, and I didn't win. I didn't win because I was not willing to pay what these were going for, because they were, man, some of the prices that I saw on these were well over $100, and I'm looking at this yellow G10 and the odd shape of the blade. It does not, even now, it doesn't appear to me to be a useful knife. It appears more like a visual knife. I will say that I think my opinion might be shifting simply because of all of this engineering that has gone into this. Like, it's starting to take on a special feel for me. Just in the disassembly and all the pieces and parts, and how well they're all toleranced and fit together. And they are. I mean, every one of these intricate little pieces was fit extremely well. I mean, there's some mechanics and machining going into this that, I mean, like I say, I just taking it apart, I'm moving into I'm liking it more and more every minute. And I'm pretty sure if I was watching this, I would be feeling the same way. There would be some level of excitement. Let's get it back together. I want I want to run it. I really want to take a look at it. The fit and finish of this thing. And the kind of weirdness of it. It's appealing to me, man. It's making me giggle. Like a little schoolgirl. All right, that was about as weird as it gets, man. Yeah, super nice. Just the engineering that has gone into this, and then the execution to make all this come together. I mean, I'm not going to say it yet, but this may be a super thumbs up to TWOSUN, Jerry Jelly and his design, and TWOSUN Manufacturing, because, I mean, it's pretty impressive so far. All right, let's get it back together. I mean, which sort of seems daunting to me. I mean, wow. All right. Well, it's got this captured collar, so I'm definitely, you know what? I'm not going to start there. I can already tell. I'm going to backtrack and get this steel lock bar. Yeah, good luck, man. Trying to remember all of these screws. I do believe it was these two. Okay, now that's not right. I got to put the scale on. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this video may be lengthy only because I didn't mark these pieces, man. They may have needed it trying to keep track of all this. Wow. This is I'm impressed. I mean, you want to do something on an evening one night, buy one of these and take it apart and then put it back together, because my brain's swirling right now trying to keep track of what I took from where. Now, I do know that that is correct. These definitely were these two shorter screws. And there's one more that goes into this scale. That was holding this side on. I may have to go back and forth a little bit with this one just to try to get all these parts and pieces right. Oh, okay. So then this, look, there's even milling in the G10 for this backspacer, which you don't even see that on high-end titanium knives. Like, they don't mill it, it just sits on there flat, but it's milled. So I do know that, and of course, the tolerances are so tight that I put it in just the slightest little bit crooked and it don't want to go now. So I'm not going to force it. I'm going to back all that off. I'm going to punch that back off and get it to line up straight. And I think the only way I can punch it off is with a screw. Yeah. So it's got to go exactly flat in there or it won't line up and go sit down in there like that. Just wonderful tolerances, man. On a yellow G10 knife. I mean, looking at this thing, like I said, on eBay, it sort of fell into the novelty category, I'm going to say. That screw's got to go all the way from there into this. And so I think it was this one. It 100% was not that one. So it's going to have to be one of these. Man, I hope I don't have to stop the video and try to backtrack. That has to be one of these longer ones. That way that'll hold that together. That is not that screw. It's a different thread size, so it's got to be a little one. It is not a little one. So now I'm guessing. Oof. This thing's going to give me a what for, man. So the long screw goes in there. So this is probably a short screw. It is not. Which means it's got to be one of these here. I know the long one goes through the pocket clip, which is that one. So maybe it's this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm comfortable with that. I am not going to hammer these screws in until I'm more comfortable with what I'm doing. Okay, the other short one was on the inside of that scale. It's here, and it's into that titanium scale in the back of that pocket clip right there, or the other side of the pocket clip. The alternate insert, I guess, is what it would be called. And then these should just be these screws here. Yeah. One more. And then this side of the scales. Whew, that's a long one, I think. Maybe not. I guess they just all look really long. I think those are exactly the same. Yeah. Okay. So that's ready to go. But that would go in there once we're ready. I've got that in there. I am going to put this pocket clip in. Well, I'm not, because if I remember, that's this long screw that goes into that spacer on the other side. Yeah. So the pocket clip's going to wait. These two will wait because these two will also hold this together. So I think I'm ready for this pin, and let's get the blade on. So there's my captured pin. How many screws do I have left? 1, 2. Got one shorty, which is not sure. Let me keep driving forward. Let's do that. I'm gonna get it though. I'm not worried. I'm not scared. I just try to get it done in under an hour. How about that? All right. So definitely a washer. Let's do a drop of oil. Racetrack. And then a bearing. I will say it wasn't a lot of dirt here, so as far as improving the action, I don't know that that's going to happen. I mean, you know, you kind of got to have something going on to improve the action in a knife, and there really wasn't anything going on here. I mean, everything looked clean. There really wasn't even an abundance. I guess there was some extra oil, but you know, it wasn't slopped on for sure. Okay. I don't think there's any more internal screws, but because of the internal nature of this particular one, I want to make sure it's tight. The rest of these I can reach from the outside. Let's get this pin in. This lock pin. Stop pin. All right. So 100%, that's correct. So I'm gonna secure all this with this pivot screw. Except I'm gonna use the T8. How about that? The right size bit. I'm not really looking for it to be tight at this point. I just want it to be snug and hold everything. That's plenty for me. So that way I can inspect screws that are remaining and get everything done properly. Okay, so I can already see that one of these, I think this short one comes up from underneath. So I have to take that back apart. Yep. Okay. Well, that's, you know, slow and steady, said the tortoise. Might call this, because of the colors, maybe I call this one the mystery bus. Because this one's definitely a colorful puzzle. Yeah, there's that one. And the rest of it is self-explanatory. Except, oddly enough, that's a T8, man. Weird. They just randomly threw a T8 over here on this clip. That's okay. It's like, hey, here's this loop. Let us throw you for it. Got to get this one tight, though, because we're not coming back in there for that. Okay. Everything's still secure, so as long as that racetrack doesn't fall off, and it didn't, I think we're lined up correctly. Let's get this pivot screw back in and have it put it all together for us, or at least hold it together. I mean, normally I have enough other trash to talk about, but on this one, man, this thing's engaged me enough that I'm staying. I'm pretty focused here. Yeah, the rest are T6s. This other pocket clip screw, the long one, actually goes all the way through that backspacer and captures the whole back of this knife together, which is nice, very cool. These two were the last two. Very cool. Almost home here. How much time we got in this? Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's going to be a long one. 30 minutes. I'm going to say another at least 5 minutes to, because man, we got to run this thing, right? Need to see if it cuts, the whole thing. All right. Well, believe it or not, I do have it put together. Took 30 minutes to take it apart, to wipe it off, and then to put it back together. And I'm going to say not because it was complicated, but just because of the sheer number of parts, man. Wow. I mean, I didn't count all those screws, but there was a lot. All right, so let's see if the action's improved noticeably. Ooh, it's awful nice. Yeah, I mean, it's just super smooth, drop shut. That thumb deployment is solid. Let's get a Spidey flick. Detent's a little tough there. The back flip is ferocious. Just throws it out there. Not sure if I could fail it, but you got to try, right? So let's give that a run. I don't even care about time now. So if you want to tune out, maybe come back in 10 minutes. I'll be done. I'll tell you what I paid for it. Yeah, can't fail it. It's just as smooth as it could be. Let's check it for play. Yeah, I mean, maybe the action's going to change a little bit because it is a little rocky right there. So I'm going to put some tension on that. I guess that makes sense. I didn't tighten it, did I? There's a little bit of lock rock here. A little bit on that end of the detent. So that's solid, and that's really solid. But yeah, there's just the slightest amount of rock here on that detent ball. I mean, it doesn't fly out of there, but it's held in there good. But man, that thing flies out. So this is an awkward grip. Let's talk about that. Everything's lined up now. This thing's fall shut. It's springing out. The action works really great. The back flipper, the thumb, and even a Spidey flick. Oh, there. A little tight. But all that works. So let's talk about this grip real quick. So the pocket clip is very pronounced as I'm working this. Like I feel that. It's not a hot spot. It hides when I strong grip it. So strong grip like this, it's pretty comfortable. It's just kind of a bummer because I want to get up on this jimping. Super aggressive jimping here. I like it. It's definitely the kind that locks you in. But when I go here to lock in that jimping, there's something that's making my hand not secure now. So strong grip is either like this or a not strong grip here. I guess I'm still strong here, but it just feels awkward towards the back, like back in the back. That changes the grip. Like if I'm here, good. If I go here, different. It takes it out of my palm. It shifts it a little bit that way. I hate to keep talking about it, but it's just kind of a weird grip. So this, I think that's what this is for because, yeah, that's wonderful. that grip right there, super powerful. Very controlled, choked up on there, and then this is very secure. Strong grip here, nice. I don't know that this knife is made for, I guess it is. If you was going to slice something, it's going to work pretty good like that. But choked up, man, this is nice. These even kind of provide a little platform for my thumb. So very nice in the hand like that. I mean, if I show it from this side, you could tell by looking at that that's a good grip right there. This is a good grip. And then this just gets a little weird. It loosens me up back in the back. Kind of strange. All right, so there's all the grip stuff. Kind of grippy texture on the G10. Super smooth on the titanium. But if I go with an easy grip on it, it's nice. And this is wonderful. This choked up spot, this was thought through. 100% that was thought through. Because that's this spot right here. Man, this is the spot for this knife. 100%. So with that said, let me cut some paper with it and see how that edge works. My tiniest little piece of paper again. Yeah, so the main blade, and that is definitely, yeah, that's a, okay, I can't think of what, it threw me for a loop now, but that's definitely a, it'll come to me, but it's not a flat grind. Yeah, so the main blade's, push cut sharp through that. Let's try this upper part, a little thicker. It's just as sharp. Yeah, very sharp, out of the box. Could it benefit from a strop? Maybe, but I'm not going to do it in this video because we're already like past my bedtime, probably everybody else's. So what's left? Let's look at some safety issues and pricing, and then wrap up this marathon of a video on this super cool, super unique knife. Little lock rock. Pretty cool. All right, safety. There's no way I can touch anything here. It's got this full titanium backspacer that's protecting that blade back there. So absolutely no issues there. And then the tip is hidden down in there. I couldn't touch it even if I just tried my absolute hardest. So complete pass, great engineering. Complete pass, great engineering. Jimping on this is smooth. It's not biting. I'll throw that point out. Let's check that pocket clip real quick. Throw it in the pocket. Yeah, so one hand in, one hand out. Very smooth. I'm going to give that pocket clip 10 stars. It's wonderful. Works perfectly. It's got the right amount of tension on it, and just couldn't be smoother. Man, I could go through about 20 pocket clips that just mill it here. I'll take this pocket clip. I'll buy them for $10 a piece, $15 a piece. I don't know how much I pay for them, but I could use a bunch of them with the correct milling on the end. Wonderful pocket clip. So what I pay for this knife? I played and I paid $99 for it. I got it for just under $100. And is it worth $100? I'm going to say, to me, yes. And here's why. Because it is, now that I've taken it apart and the engineering and the thought that's gone into it, this grind, this hollow grind, finally spit it out of my mouth. It's a piece of art. It really is. I mean, it's one of those that I'll never sell it. It's got to be in my collection forever. I just truly, really dig this knife. In the 30 minutes that I've handled it and taken it apart and messed with it and gotten to see the engineering, the beauty, the workmanship that's gone into this. Man, I really, really like this knife. I don't have any, not one complaint. So I appreciate the marathon 40-minute watch, but I hope it was worth it, man. It was worth it to me. This is the funnest 40 minutes I've spent in a long time. I really dig it. I hope you like the knife, and let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching.